Hello, everybody. This is the devrelshow, episode number 10. I'm probably repeating myself. I can't believe it's already 10 episode right now. I'm just being lucky, to be able to do that show, talk about what I love, what I do for a living for the last, I don't know, 12 years, maybe doing devrel, and learning new cool stuff because I'm technical. I've been a developer for 20 something years. Technology is so complicated. There is so many like programming language and technology and services and tools and programming language and libraries and framework out there so that it's impossible to know everything. So I'm just glad that I bring expert in different fields to like show us some cool stuff. So episode number 10. Thanks for being with us today. I know it's not the usual schedule. So sorry about that. We were on the verge of going live like 10 minutes before the show last Thursday. And I don't know what happened. I got super dizzy, like maybe 5 minutes before I jump into like the pre-show, doing the pre-show, and it was not going better. So I was like, Victor, I'm so sorry, but like it's not gonna work. Like things are spinning, and it was worse because I was looking at the screen. So sorry about that. Things happen. I'm feeling better. I have no idea what happened. It was like just something that happened at that point in time. So just happy we're able to reschedule sooner than later. And with that said, I am super excited to have Victor as my guest. We never met in person, but I think I'm following you and a little bit of your career for the last couple of years because prior to the job where you are right now, you were working for Kong. And funny story, I was working for the pre-Kong, so when it was called Meshape, I did a small stint as a developer advocate. I don't know, maybe 8 years ago or something like that. When it was like a API marketplace, and when like Kong became a thing, and you were there, I was like, yeah, I want to know that guy. So thanks for being on the show. So who are you, Victor?
All right, Brad, thanks so much for having me. My name is Viktor Gamov, and I am head of developer advocacy at a company called StarTree. And before that, as Fred mentioned, I was principal developer advocate at Kong, where building all things around APIs. And prior to that, wrote a book about Kafka. We're going to talk about Kafka today as well. Before that, it was all sorts of things, starting from consultancy, doing how it's probably like the next last couple of years, I call it like a full stack development. At that time, we didn't call it like that, but it was a front end, back end, pre HTML5 years. Prior that, there was a technology called Adobe Flex, and we were building a lot of applications. The dawn of the modern modern web and modern web application. At that time, they call it rich internet applications. So um, but yeah, the right now I am after spending a couple of years in the API world, I got back into world of data where I spent before I joined the Quant like around like 4 years in the Confluent and 3 years at Hazelcast. So yeah, I've been in the world of data, big data, fast data, stream data, whatever, for a while now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you have a great career, and actually, you know what? I'm curious about. Actually, can you tell us a little bit more about your role? And when we talked about doing the DevRel show, I think your title was principal developer advocate. But when I
Yeah.
went to check on LinkedIn recently, am I wrong? I think I saw head of developer advocacy.
Yeah, that's correct. I moved from the Kong to StarTree, and I started there in January 1st. So like a new year, new me, is
That's
the people like to say.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And what is your role as the? What do you do as the head of developer advocacy at StarTree?
Yeah. So we at StarTree, we truly believe in our like open source. Everything that started as a company started in open source. Apache Pinot is one. It's the one of the pioneer projects in a world of real time or user facing analytics, and the from very inception of the company, developer relations was important for the company because the again nature of open source and the engineers who built this product at the LinkedIn back in the day, they understood importance of the community and importance of engaging developers early on and build the foundation and listening the feedback and working on collaborative approach. So I joined StarTree as a head of developer advocacy, where I'm have a team of developer advocates who are working on promoting all things Apache Pinot, all things Apache, all things StarTree. So we do have a cloud solution, and that's kind of like a new role for me. I stepping up a little bit from individual contributor to the role of manager as well, and it is exciting. But also, like, it's not gonna be solely like management role. It's more like a playing coach. Still excited to step in on the stage and talk about the technologies, engage with the people in the community, build the demos, and so far and so on.
That's awesome. And I know it's only been like a month and a half in the new role, but how do you feel about like or what's on your mind about like moving from a high C role to a management slash leadership role? So what do you see like about the big difference? Or like what do you have to change in your kind of like day to day?
For day to day, so I was working individual contributor as but I still was involved in the many organizations, in the many places inside the organizations. Um, the One of the things that I was doing is engaging with different parts of organization. Michael, no. Yeah, have a today we have a snowstorm and we do have kids at home, um,
No
things like
worries
that.
at
So
all.
yeah,
You
so
can join the live stream.
he's not properly dressed for
Oh,
joining the live
okay.
stream. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so give me a quick second.
Yeah, no worries. During that time, Patrick is joining us. So, hey, Patrick, you are definitely in every live stream. Just happy to see you. It's been a while we didn't talk. Hopefully, life is good.
Um, so so we were talking about the kind of like working and how the life will change. So it will change slightly because it will require not only doing presentations, doing live streams, but also working on the strategy for developer relations and developer advocacy at the company, but also working on different initiatives around how to and you know specifically to do what to do and specifically what to promote and things like that. So definitely a little bit more kind of less fun, more business, kind of like a business stuff, and doing spreadsheets, doing dashboards, and all this type of stuff. But it is pretty cool. But also the the management skill, like communication skills, not only for like outside world but also to inside. We do have a team of developer advocates that I um, need to coach them, to work with them, to
Uh,
make sure they're successful with the things what they do. They have every support from organization, from the company, and some of their project that they're working on that also will help to elevate success of overall um, developer relations organization here at the StarTree.
Yeah, that's amazing. I did a small stint as a manager at a previous company,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a part of me that kind of like missed it because I really like enjoy like coaching, as you said, like really trying to help people being successful. I love to like share my knowledge and experience if it can help other people, but also learn from other people. And I feel like when you have a team, you have that opportunities. But at the same time, as much as like I like people, I like my coworker, I'm a friendly type of coworker. I love to jokes and have fun with people. Like the dynamic changed a little bit because you're not friends anymore, which doesn't mean that you cannot be friends, but like you're first and foremost like a manager. And like personally, I really found that like when I had issues with some employee, that was really the hard part for me, because I had to have like difficult discussion about performances or about like the way that they were behaving and what they're doing or were not doing. And I was struggling inside me, because I was like, I need to do that. That's my job, and it's for their benefits. Like they need to do a better
Yeah.
job at what they do if they want to be successful and if they want to keep that job. But part of me was like, yeah, but like now I'm gonna be the bad guy, and like I don't know how you feel about that, but I just wanted to share a little bit of like slice of my life, of a previous
Um,
life.
I don't feel like a bad guy. Oh, of course there would be processes in place in order to you know, by the end of the day, what we do help companies to be successful and the users successful with the product that our company is building. And in order to do this, there needs to be like a proper processes, and the right people needs to be on the right place. People who needs to be either have an opportunity to grow, to properly apply their skills
Mhm.
for the job, I would say. um, and it is important that when we when we're growing something, things will change. One of the things that you mentioned in terms of like there's no one said that you can be the friends. Yes, I a little bit triggers me every time when the employer said like we're family. We're not family. We doing business here.
That's true.
But 100% we can be friends. We can make friends. Like all my friends that I meet in my kind of like adult life came from the places that I used to work, and I still very very well connected with those people. So I truly believe in power of networking. I truly believe that it doesn't matter what you know, it doesn't matter who you know, it matters who know what you know. So that's why your
Mhm.
the way how the people perceive you is also important. And but it doesn't mean that you cannot have fun along the way. So
I agree. I
you know,
agree.
business up front, the party on the back. This is how we roll, and the current size of the company allows to kind of like build this type of culture within the organization to hire right people and um, the work through the process of taking them from where they are and where they want to be as a professionals. This is something that as a manager I start thinking a little bit more how I can be helpful for people and how for my people, and what's how the success would look for them, and what I can do for them in order to enable them. So yeah, I don't think um negative things yet like in terms of like performance reviews, like punishing people. We're not I don't think it is. It's all about communication, so those things needs to be
Through that.
communicated earlier in order to prevent all the bad stuff that happens.
Yeah, it should be a
Yeah,
surprise when you're on when you have a discussion about like, yeah, you're not a good fit for the job. Like, it shouldn't
yeah,
be a surprise. You should have had like discussion with people before about like, hey, something's happening. How can I help you? This is what we need from you. This is what you're doing and not doing. Like, how can I help you? Like, fill the gap. So
yeah,
I totally understand. Like, you need to have discussion. I think my point was like I was struggling to having those
yeah,
discussions. So maybe I was not like the best fit for being a manager. But what I was telling my folks is that you need to be capable, which like maybe was a wrong way for me to do that. But I was telling people you need to be capable to understand that like there's Fred, like your coworker slash even like friends if you like to, because as I said, I'm friendly, I'm friends with everyone, but sometimes you're gonna face Fred the manager. And like I'm always the manager, but like when I was saying that, it was like in the more like, hey, sometimes I may have things and we may need to be a little more serious about that, or I may have like difficult discussion for you, which doesn't remove everything else from our collaboration or friendship if we have one. But like it's my job to help you and help the company. But also, as you said, I I don't want to, like, I don't know who's listening to that, but like I don't like the family thing also, because again, as you said, it's a company. We work to get money at the
Yeah.
end to have a living, and yes, we can be friendly when we yes we can have fun, but at the end we're not a family. And I'm saying that because I have most of the time now there's that, like, it's not the same as it was before. Right now, where I work within my team, like I know my manager, they're always like we're a family, and I for the first time I believe them. Like they truly say that in a positive way. But like every time I heard someone say like in a company we're a family, it was usually like a red flag for me. Bullshit. Like, hey, it's because you're gonna ask me to do sacrifice or work late all the time and like go toward like a common goals of hallelujah and shit, where like the stockholder are making all the money and like I'm the one like doing all the job. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent now. I appreciate you share your experience like as a new manager, and I'm wishing you a lot of great experience with
Yeah,
your team and in that new
for me,
role.
I think it's important thing is to understand strength and the weaknesses of individual team members and find a balance where like different people can complement their skills each other. So that's why we build in a team. It's not it's not the individual sport. It is team sport. I'm sorry for like the sport analogies, but it's still in a still reflecting on the Super Bowl a little bit, so it's like our American thingy. So they like for defense and for offense, they have even different coaches, like a different group of
Yeah.
people, and there's all like in the people who training for those things are not doing like opposite things. They can be universal, but in general, like there's some specialists, and there's a kicker, for example. Kicker, usually don't participate. It has like one task. It's just like kick the ball. Um, and of and by the end of the day, like all those people are create a team that will lead to success.
Mhm.
So for me, as a one of the things that I like to um, learn and use and cultivate as a manager is to define how different people can complement each other, how they can work together, and how we can get successful organization going forward.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I would like to switch a little bit of discussion and talk maybe less about your specific role right now. But you've been doing developer relation, if I'm not wrong, for 6 to 7 years now, like in
I think a
different roles.
little bit more. So I think I was doing uh, any type of developer relation, developer engagement since 2011, probably.
Oh, okay.
So when I was the in the company that were doing consultancy, that I was mentioning in the very beginning, I still was doing developer relations. Um, but there was different developer relations. So that time, like we were trying to the sell our services, talking about like our projects, what we do, and all these kind of things. We also built some open source project that showcase some of our the some our work, and we were running like user groups in locally in here in New Jersey. There was a Princeton Java user group. There was a Princeton New Jersey Flex user group, and we're doing this to engage the audience, so create a community around technologies that we like to use for a couple reasons. One of the reasons is that we want to promote ourselves, and the way, in my opinion, the best way to promote yourself, not by withholding information but by sharing information.
Yeah.
That's why networking. Michael, no time, no time, no, no, no.
Michael is a future developer advocate.
Michael is a pain in the neck, because today there's no school, and there's snow day. They enjoyed. No.
No worries at all. No worries. So I'm taking the time. First, if you have any question or comments, I always say at those banners saying like if you have question for the guests, please ask them. But like if you have a question for me too, I'm more than happy to answer them. But also if you have any comments about what we're saying, or just say hi if you're listening live. It's always nice to see who's live and who's listening, and we can also say hi to you for being there.
So yes, and I'm back with wrangling the kids. That's what we do these days. Like every time when we work from home. Um, when when I quit consultancy and start doing more the product product style. So I joined the Hazelcast in 2014, and at Hazelcast I was field engineer, solutions engineer. So I was engaging with the customers, engaging with prospects, and every time when I was traveling to see them, I would use this opportunity to go and see
Okay.
local people. For example, like if I'm seeing the customer in Dallas, I would know that I will go there in a couple of weeks. I would try to reach out local Java use group. I'm kind of sort of like a Java guy, and have a I'm a Java champion right now, which means that I was active in Java community, and I um, was actively promoting some Java technologies. So and that's why the Oracle recognized the community champions
Mhm.
with Java champion title. Reach out saying, "Hey, I will be in your area. This is what I can talk about this. Like if you can host, we can buy pizza." Um, and like time to time, like the engage with people in Stack Overflow, engage with people in GitHub, maybe working on helping people to get their like pull requests in. The Hazelcast was commercial open source company, meaning that there was like an open big part of the product was open, so there's lots of integrations in a different in a different with different projects. And only when I joined Confluent after a year as a solution engineer, I officially transitioned as a developer advocate. So I was doing developer relations for a while, even though it was not called developer relations, like or developer
Okay, yeah,
advocate.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
but engagement with users, with community, is always a part of the job that I was doing.
Yeah, and you bring a good point. So I assume when I was like checking your LinkedIn, I just like checked the years of experience, like where you had the title. But I would say most of us who move in a developer advocate role, we were either already doing like the developer advocate job or part of the job within like any other job, like as you said, like you were doing like consultancy or you were like support engineers, but you were still doing like developer advocate stuff, or we were doing this on our free time, like just like as something we like to do, being,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's a lot of people, a lot of work that allowed me to officially land the title. Was a lot of work that I was doing as a undercover specialist, So
And what brought you to go from I if you were saying like you were mostly like probably you started as a software developer, I think what you were saying like
mhm.
what brought you to move from like a pure coding software development role to like yeah still being technical but like talking more about coding than coding, like what made you decide to do that move if you want to share?
So I don't know actually.
Good
It
question.
happened somehow naturally. Uh, I like I already mentioned this, and this is very important for me personally, and I want to kind of like share this with people that it really doesn't matter what you know and who you know. It matters who know what you know. So a lot of works and a lot of like my uh, the successes in life, they actually came from network, came from people that either worked with me or know my or work with like know my skills and things like that. So that's how all these things are started. And in order to get your skills out, you need to do a little bit of self promotion as well. um and
Yep.
I, another thing is that I was not, for example, I'll give you example. When you do like traditional interview, you go in there like architect interview or senior engineer interview, you'll have a multiple, the verbal interviews, you might have like some coding interviews, and after that there would be kind of like architectural interview. And I remember that feeling that when I was doing this, it was super tough, it's super stressful, and kind of like you need to explain all these things. And I understood that I was not very good at it, and I decided, okay, so this is the weakness that I need to work on in order to explain the things, explain the technology, explain the work you did. It was a big part. So I started just kind of like a learning things. One of the very very influential books in my life. It was Presentation Patterns by I think three authors there: Nate Shuda, um, the Neil Ford, and Matthew McCullough. As far as I remember, this is a very cool book that where I learned some of the like basic mistakes that people doing with presenting stuff, how to properly present things and talk about things. I was 2012 and 2013. I was attending some of the conferences in San Diego. I don't remember the name of the conference, but I attended the Git workshop by Matthew McCullough. And apart from learning Git, I also was admired by his. I think he's still at GitHub. He was running the kind of field.
Yeah. I
He
don't
was
know.
running education there for a while, and now probably he does like a field stuff. Yeah, but the his presentation skills were inspire me to do more presentation like this. Tim Berglund, that we worked together at Confluent, and now we're working together with StarTree. He also was like very influential about the kind of like the delivering, and instead of like just blatantly stating facts, maybe talking through some story that
Yeah.
allows people to relate to things that you're talking about more. So those, the people like Dr. Venkat Subramanian, who was just a master of like live coding. I was not very good at live coding, but I really want to learn how to do this and how to do the things on the stage, creating things out of nothing. Once his laptop, it's not a joke, it's not like urban legend. This was a genuine fact that there even have videos of this. So he was presenting in the conference somewhere. I think it was JEE in Kiev, like way back before the war and stuff. His laptop break down on the stage, like he died. And instead of kind of like fumbling and saying, "Oh, that the laptop is died, so I cannot continue," he just literally took the laptop from the guy who's sitting on the first row, just plugged it in and start typing without knowing like if the guy has his favorite keyboard installed or his favorite like a key maps installed. So or like a favorite ID. So those type of skills that I learned from like or wish to learn. But the Dr. Venkat, if you never see him speaking, he is just amazing, and especially live
That's
coding stuff. Yeah,
That's impressive because
yeah,
the beginning of the story, I was like, yeah, happened to me once, but like it took someone else's laptop, like I would die.
hmm
Like if I'm not on my laptop, I'm lost. Like with the proper keyboard configuration, with all my shortcuts, with the tools that I know, like I can deliver my demo, I can code, I can do the things I need to do. But sometimes just doing basic things on someone else's
yeah.
laptop, I just can't. That happened to me once where like the projector died completely. So I finished to give the talks and like I explained the demo and what it would look like and stuff like that. But I didn't have like a coding like a heavy coding part in that. So I was able to do that, but like I would never be able to just like take someone else's laptop, even if they have the same tools. Like the configuration is different, the shortcuts and
Yeah,
stuff is just like wow, that's a good skill. And
yeah, this is great skill.
that is, and just to come back quickly on two things. So you were talking about like not just stating the facts, but also sharing a story, which I think is super important when you're giving talks. In the episode 6 of the DevRel show, we had Kevin Blanco, who his demo part was mostly about like how to tell a story, how to build a compelling story. So I invite people to watch that talk. And just another thing that I wanted to have about the fact that you need to, like, it's about who knows you, it's about who you know, it's about what people know about you. It's basically personal branding. And for many many years when I started as a developer advocate, I was doing that without knowing it. And at some point I was like, hey, it's something that's working for me that could be useful for other people. So I published a book about personal branding for developer many years ago at A Press, but it's not about promoting the book. We don't really get money out of like books unless you're like a New York Times bestseller. But what I wanted to share is the talk. I think the last time I did a talk on personal branding was in 2019. It was at DevFest Nantes. The first 2 minutes is in French because I was in France and I speak French, but the rest is in English. It's free, so it's why I wanted to share that. If you want, as a developer, learn a little more about like personal branding and how can you sell yourself without selling your soul, without becoming like a salesperson or like a more traditional marketing person. Like there's a lot of ways about getting out there and like really taking the ownership of your brand, because you
Yes,
already have a personal brand. You just maybe not know what it is exactly, but you can take the ownership of it. So yeah, just wanted to share some free resource for people. And I know I told you before the show, like if we go about 30 minutes of discussion, we should move to live demo. But I have one last question for you.
please.
And you know what? Because I do whatever I want. That's my show. I have
Exactly.
one last
That's
question, and
absolutely a legitimate thing to do. Do
and
it.
and I talk to a lot of people, being developer advocate with our IC leadership team. You've been doing that for 10 years, you were saying, even more. And actually, there's not a lot of people doing that for many years. Like I've been doing that for about the same times, I think 12 years now. Usually people, they get tired or they get burned out after like 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. I think it was a little more shorter when people were traveling a lot, where like developer advocacy was mostly just about on like in-person events. That changed a little bit, but still, is there, it's kind of like a loose question, like is there tips or tricks you want to share to people about like doing a career in DevRel, or anything that help you to last or continue to do that role that, let's be honest, it's awesome, but it's not always easy. It's a demanding role. You need to always be on. You are doing the job of like 20-person in one role because you do like a lot of things and everything. So is there anything you would like to share to folks based on your experience?
Yes, this is a very good question, Fred. So the first thing that I started noticing a couple years ago, sorry, is that many people who were good like DevRel practitioners, they start kind of like a lot of people start moving out. Like people moved to engineering, moved back to to whatever, but mostly engineering. Some people get back to like maybe sales engineering or whatever, and that was very interesting, I would say. I don't want to say that it was disturbing, even though it was, because like, okay,
Mhm.
so what is happening? Like, why this happening? And we were for the last couple of years, they were not very good years just in general in the world of the pandemic and the micro economics economic factors. And the the problem, in my opinion, is that many people who were start like many organizations, many companies who started doing DevRel, they were doing this more like a cargo cult. Because everyone is doing, we're selling software, everyone is doing this, so we should do this. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
let's go. Let's have a developer advocate, and like you said, make them do 20 different jobs for no reason, because we're not clear to understand like what kind of value it brings. And I think that that's the problem, that
Hmm.
uh, explaining the, or like a clearly the leaders need to clearly understand the value of developer relations, and why they doing this, and why this thing needs to be existing, and like how it is different from, say, traditional marketing, traditional, or not even
Yeah.
traditional marketing, from like developer marketing, digital marketing, all the things that kind of like, I don't consider marketing as a profanity. It's the honorable job.
No.
They do a lot of good things for the business, and there's a good specialist around this. Without marketing, we would not know different products, and the proper messaging is important. Um, but it is not kind of like a replacement, or it's not one against another. Developer relations versus marketing. It's not one
I
against
agree.
another.
I
Developer
agree.
relations is more on the value that the developer advocates and developer relations organization can bring to the bigger company. It's enormous, but this value needs to be clearly communicated, and if it's a value that they bring will be aligned with the company goals, yes, this will work, and the leadership needs to understand. So there should be clear buy-in from the leadership. Otherwise, your job will turn into a nightmare, when you need to convince the people all the time, like why you exist, why you do what you do, why you need to go to conference, why you need to write this blog post, and stuff like that. I think the developer relations helps to win longer games, so that's why it is very difficult sometimes to talk
Yes.
about traditional cycles as many other um, groups inside the company is doing. For example, sales, they thinking about quarters, and like, okay, so this is the goal for Q1, this is the goal for Q2. Since marketing supports sales, marketing primarily driver for sales, they also aligned with the similar, like their goals somehow aligned of about the marketing qualified leads and sales qualified leads, and all this like the top of the funnel things, developer acquisition, different metrics, they exist in order to help to sell the software. How, the way how I see developer relations is that we are inside the company, we are unnumbered. It doesn't really make sense to have size of developer relations team as the size of engineering team usually, or like your
Mhm.
marketing team. Just historically, and by the jobs what we do, we were smaller. But if we're doing good job, we bring in community as our helpers. Um, uh, I still I still have it somewhere. Like I have like a small poster that shows the transition from from the very beginning, when the user starts using the product, it doesn't know anything, they need to go through the phase of enlightenment, and they understand what's needed. User will become active user, active user become hopefully customer, and like a successful and happy customer will become your
Yep.
advocate for the company. People buying from the people they like. People will tell everything about these shoes that they bought because they love them, and some of the emotions that they brought. They will like,
Hmm.
you know this, you know those people, and we are those people. I can tell you everything about how I'm enjoying the like tweaking
Yep.
my terminal, and like doing different things with Tmax, and doing some cool things to for my IntelliJ, and it's all different products. And I pay for IntelliJ for the last I don't know, like 10 years, because I was huge like Eclipse fan, and once I started when I switched to IntelliJ, Eclipse was free. It was a great tool for developing, but IntelliJ was better, and it's paid, and I happily pay for this. So now I'm a huge advocate for IntelliJ. I can, I'm a one of I close to super user, because I know certain things that many people don't use, and I use them like a lot, and all this kind of things. So I'm more like advanced user, and I will be showing those features to other people and saying, hey, that's that's also a thing. So this is something that you cannot measure. You can, but usually
Yeah,
you can't. um, and it's a long game. Like I've
it
been with
is.
the IntelliJ for last 12 years. Same with some other software products. Like there's element of loyalty. If the vendors are not screwing us with there's the opposite. There's the opposite example. There was a tool. There's a like alternative camera app for iPhone. It's called Filmic, and it gave some advanced features for like aspiring the, the filmmakers using the mobile phone. So I use this and I paid for this app, and I paid for like every upgrade because I feel it worth it, because new hardware, they might bring new features, new innovation. And all of a sudden they were acquired by another company, and they totally
Uh,
changed the policy of the software. So I was like, no, like I love this app. I use this app for a while. It gives a lot of things, but now it's just simply they try to the milk the community that the founders were built. So
those are sad
there's a
stories.
yeah, there's a good stories, like success stories, and there's some stories that not so successful. So it's kind of like more, there's no definitive answer to to this question. I was just like sharing some of these like
Yeah,
stories and anecdotes
no,
from
no, but that's
what
great.
I see, and what I learn is that when you talking in the company, you join in the company, you need to ask the questions. You need to ask the questions. If you see like, oh, company is hiring developer, get like, spend some time to understanding the business and ask the questions of hiring manager. Why they hiring this? Like why it is important. You as like as a developer advocate or any developer relations practitioner specialist, you want to be happy at your job. You want to do your job
Yeah,
very good. You want to be successful. You want to grow in your job, and that's why you need to be in a place where you will be able to do this, um, and you will be able to grow as a professional, but also help a company to grow. And it is very difficult to find the right place. So that place will
it is.
will help you to grow. Not easy, but it's possible. But and you need to ask questions. Like you need to ask questions. Why they hiring this? Like what is what they want to do.
I agree.
Um,
I agree.
Content is only, I don't know, probably 20% of the things what we do. Content, the code, community, product feedback, friction logs, being the developer zero for the product, getting this feedback and saying, hey, we understand how the product should be used and how the people will use the product. Those things we even didn't touch today. Kind of how developer relations can influence those aspects of the company life.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to discuss. This is what I like about doing that show too, is that we touch base about a little bit of like part of like DevRel with different guests that have different opinion also and different experience. So I agree with I was going to say mostly, but actually everything you just said before. The only thing is that the cynical part of me and the person who've been through that experience is that sometimes even when you ask question and you get the proper answer and you feel like the leadership team understand what is developer relation, or at least understand based on my vision, like the way I see it and the way I'm going to be happy doing it and the way I think I'm going to bring value to the business and have an impact and a good
Mm-hmm.
return on investment. Even when you have those discussion prior to joining, sometimes even when people agree, it's not the reality once you have like 2 feet to like your feet in the company. So unfortunately, it doesn't equate like a proper
It
role where you're going to be
doesn't, of
happy, but it
course.
minimizes the potential issues that you can have. So Totally agree with that.
You never know, and especially right now, because there's another show that we trying to bring back to life, that we were doing a couple of years back, and now we're trying to bring this back online. It's called Developer Relations Radio, DevRel Radio.
Hmm.
The um, many topics that we discuss is about kind of like measuring things and showing impact and having these conversations. And it's the job is never done with DevRel. So there's
That's
no
true.
end to, like, you asking this question. You constantly need to be visible, and if it's not visible, if people don't understand why you're doing the job, that's, you know, they don't see the value, they don't understand. And especially it's important right now where the people are get fired, unfortunately, because on the first place company didn't understand the value, what kind of organization bring, what this organization is bringing, which is terrible. Because I remember the times when everyone was about like growing at all cost. And that's why I'm saying, like, okay, so let's have a DevRel because everyone has DevRel. So we just, like, we have a VC money, let's fund this department, we'll hire those people. For you as a CEO, it's a mistake. But for perspective of people, it's their life. They paying with their their life for your mistakes, because you didn't quite understood why you need to have a DevRel. So it is tough. And more senior you become, more you're working, you've seen like good times, bad times, and
Yeah,
the conversation is changing, like conversation from point like growth at all costs now, like, okay, so how fast we can go to profitability and how you can help us to be profitable. DevRel is always cost center. DevRel is never about it's not about the revenue. It's not the revenue department. However, it's a long game. This is
it is.
we're building the foundation for company success in future, if there would be company in the future. So some people can say, oh, how we can talk about long game if we don't know if we're gonna exist the next quarter or whatnot. That's why I'm saying it's tough, tough
It
questions,
is.
tough conversations, but those needs to take place.
It is. It is. I agree, and I don't. I don't want to. Not that I don't want to continue the discussion, but like I want to move to the demo. I just want to add. Uh, I understood what you said with the cost center. I prefer to say it's an investment. I feel less like I'm just spending money that I won't get back. And I totally agree. For me, developer relation is the first thing I try to make clear when I go through the interview process. It's a medium to long term impact role. So yes, I can get some quick win, but this is not what is developer relation, because it's built around human, it's built around connection, it's built around trust, and there is no way you can gain that in like a quick minute after talking to someone for like 2 minutes online on Twitter. Like it's not going to work. So on that note, that was amazing. We could continue that topic and many more for a long time, but let's move to the demo part. As I understood from your demo, we're going to talk data, we're going to talk analytics, but we're going to talk about pizza, which is let's be honest, I like both of those, but I really love pizza. So let's do that. The show is yours. And actually, just
Yeah.
before I give you the mic, let me thank vocally our sponsor, which is my employer, Q First. It's a GitOps Kubernetes instant platform. You can try it to have your Kubernetes cluster with all the tools you want, all the tools you need to be successful, production ready. So thanks to Q First for to sponsoring that live stream. So on that note, Victor, show us about the pizza shop demo.
Yeah. So I mentioned in the very beginning, I work at the StarTree, where we continue to develop the open source technology called Apache Pino, which is what we called real time analytics platform. But in the real time, in this sense, is not to make the dashboards, the faster, fancier. Is more like making available data from the sources that you don't know when they will end. With when it's not like a traditional end of day. We close all our our stores. We wait until all the batches will arrive, and after that we run this computation. We want to see some of the data like immediately happen last 5 minutes, last 1 minute, last 1 hour, to make some sort of like a business
Yeah.
related decisions. And the thing with this technology is it is, first of all, like Apache Pinot, it is a database. It's the special type of database. It's the what we call OLAP database. There's two type of databases that generally exist. It's the kind of OLTP and OLAP. OLTP is the online transaction database that is designed to be heavy, optimized for writes. So the write speed is fast. Like any traditional database like MySQL is OLTP database. You're writing data, you're updating data, so that's your traditional database. Pinot is database that store the data in a special the ways that it will allows you to perform super fast analytical queries, running some sort of like averages, running different computations, summing data, getting like the total and stuff like that. So, and that you still can do analytical queries on top of your real time, on top of your OLTP database, but the data needs to be transformed, like they need to be massaged, because many people, me included, when they were learning about databases in universities, we're talking about the normal form, deduplication, how the relational databases are
Mhm.
telling us to store the data in the form that there's no duplication data, because it's difficult to keep data consistent if there would be duplication. So there's a lot of interesting things going on there. And also the last couple years, I also guilty to be the person who was pushing this, the streaming technologies and technologies like Apache Kafka, how to bring some of the real-time events into the world of like traditional batch processing. So this demo is all about this. It has a multiple moving parts that includes some of the traditional systems like MySQL, and systems like Kafka, system like Pinot, and so far and so on. So
Awesome.
let me just like dive a little bit quick inside these the architecture. I do have, I think I have a better picture that I can explain what is going on here. By the way, this is website developer dev.startree.ai. It's kind of developer portal where we talking about all things real-time analytics. And this is the better picture, the picture that I like more. So it represents kind of like a use case that was influenced by the Apache Pinot was heavily used inside LinkedIn, heavily used inside Uber Eats. And one of the use cases for Uber Eats and see kind of like analytical queries on top of and seeing the dashboards and see what kind of requests were coming in and how this will affect revenue, which is also important. User facing part, we're gonna simulate the user facing part, but user facing part usually have some sort of like API that exposed to mobile application, goes through the API gateway, and after that lands in somehow on orders topic. So the Kafka becomes the central part that will receive events that happened on the system. Like if there's a new order, there would be new event that happened in the Kafka topic. From other side, we do have a inventory system that data stored inside the MySQL. We have a different type of products. Let me quickly open the MySQL console so you will see what kind of products we have. So we have a table. Let me see if I can do a font bigger. Uh-huh. Can I make it bigger? No. Why it is not? Probably it's something that I cannot change because it is predefined. No, let's do duplicate. And if I can do this, can I change it here? Weird. Anyway, so
Yeah, I
using
think
this,
it's okay.
okay. I just wanted to make the font bigger for
Yeah.
the standard buttons. So yeah, if I run this, all sorts of products, we have this Moroccan spice pasta pizza. We have a veggie paradise. We do have a Mexican taco Mexicana. So all sorts of different the pizza types that our pizza shop has. Excuse me. It has a description and it has the category, the image, and stuff like that. And also we do have where's my pizza shop? There's tables, fresh, and some generated users. 100 rows. Some of the users that will be placing orders. So this data will be extracted from MySQL. It will be joined, what we call like we perform enrichment. So we'll take the product because inside the product we only have some information about the products. Where's my products? But orders that will land in our Kafka topic, they only have IDs. So in order to show you what is going on, every time when someone goes to my website, they will place the order, and this is how the order would look like. It will have, I can do bigger thing here probably. Oh. We do have a user ID, and we do have a product ID, and that's it. So this is the order that user clicked, and this is the request that came from our API. Now what we want to do here, we want to enrich this item because we do have a data about the products. So we can take lookup by product ID and include this information into enriched orders. For that, we're using technology called Kafka Streams. Kafka Streams, it is the framework that is also part of Apache Kafka, and we're using the technology called the Quarkus, which is a Java framework for building microservices.
Okay.
And essentially, what it does, it provides. If you ever heard about term 12-factor application, a lot of frameworks were influenced by this idea that your application would be cloud native if it will be doing certain things. So essentially, apart from the Kafka things, that they do a lot of things in terms of like how you can configure your application, how you can package and ship it, and it's also very opinionated, so you don't need to worry about this. You focus on the logic, and after that, you have a Docker container that you will be able to modify and configure like online. But essential logic here is that basically these couple lines. We will take some data from orders, and we will join them with data from the. We have this concept of like hydrated. Where is it? Hydrated order that we will get from topic. We have a products and orders. We get the orders information from the orders and the products, and after that we will join them. And output we will put in the enriched order topic.
Okay.
Inside my Kafka console, if I go to my topic, I go to enriched order topic, and now remember the order. Now the order like looks slightly different. It looks like this. We do have the product
More
information
information.
now.
Yeah.
Exactly. We replace the information with the order ID with actual product, and we still have a product ID just in case. But we can use this information to do some other things. And in order to do some other things, we need to have another database that allows us perform these type of queries. So first of all, what it is so different? Like, okay, say Victor, why we cannot just put this in MySQL and do the thing?
That was that was my question.
So you can, um, but the idea of essentially what we need to do with this enriched items, we basically query in the stream, because like if I click refresh, there would be new data every time, because orders are generated. We get the requests from our users. We get all these orders. So this is not gonna stop. This is gonna thing that already continue, and you need to have a system that can understand nature of this data. Um, the 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 You can model your, like I said, you can model your traditional like OLTP database in the sense that it can be perform analytical queries, but it would be cumbersome, and you need to find the ways how this would not look awkward, and do some optimization. You need to find proper indexes in order these queries to be faster. Plus, uh, we talk in the world, those technologies, they came from the world of web scale, and it's not gonna fit in one place in database. So now you need to figure out how you can shard this across multiple databases. How you
Mhm.
now you need to write the system that will coordinate the queries. You can go and query different shards, and after that bring this back. So that's why we land at this result inside the Apache Pinot that already has idea how to shard this
Oh,
data,
okay.
how to spread this, and it's already will perform transformation of data in order to perform these analytical queries. So the schema would look like this. So we take in this information from the enriched items. We already seen this. It was basically inherited from we saw on the Kafka topic.
Hmm.
And this will be what we call the real-time table. Kafka will be we will get this information from Kafka automatically, and will update if there's a change of a particular item. We will perform a upsort operation, so we will change this in place, and now we will be able to do stuff like this. So if I go to Pinot, I have the enriched items, and I have all sorts of things that we just saw in the previously. Now we can query this from the Pinot. This is also will be cumbersome, because this is just like a database. We usually don't give our users to access to system where they need to perform random queries. We want to give them some sort of,
You wouldn't sell too many pizzas.
yeah, we want to give them a dashboard. So that's why we're using this open source technology called Streamlit.
Mhm.
It's a Python framework that allows to interact with Pinot and give this very nice visualization. So for the orders that would be generated, we can build the dashboards that will be query Pinot in interacting. For example, get the orders per second and the revenue per second, because we will be able to accumulate how much money we can generate on the orders. Plus, we do have this information that we get from the orders, last orders, and also we can perform some of the aggregation in some of the analytical queries, like most popular items or most popular categories. We can query category table, and the way how it look like inside the we will be querying something like this. So we will be able to um, we need to that will use as input from our console, and this is the analytical queries that will include count, sum, price for the field, and based on particular the parameter of the query, and
Mhm.
Streamlit allows us to build all these metrics based on the um, based on the data that comes from the Pinot. So the source of this, if you want to play around with this demo, is on our GitHub, StarTree Data Pizza Shop. That's the place where you can the play around. It's it is specifically was exaggerated and make it kind of like super complex, but it shows multiple things. So the Pinot supports do batch type of queries. We can like upload directly from the sources like S3 into Pinot, and after that we will do some queries. Also, we can plug to this one. Also, we can plug to Kafka topic and constantly updating inside the Pinot and have a dashboard that will be constantly updating. There's multiple different ways how you can do this type of stuff, but it was exaggerated to show some of the big parts and how this can be used at that scale.
Mhm.
All these components can be scaled independently. These Kafka streams can be running in the multiple instances. Say you're running this in Kubernetes, you just go there and say, hey, I want to run multiple instances of Kafka streams. So the Kafka streams will do this joining the enrichment operations faster because you will spread and split and perform this computation across multiple instances of Kafka stream. Different nodes of Pinot can be also be distributed, and these queries will be performed also like super fast. So there's a lot of things going on there, and like 20 minutes that I I used to show this maybe it will not um, explains everything, but like if you happen to be in Atlanta in April, I will be doing a workshop for Apache Pinot, like a whole day workshop and training, and also we are doing real-time analytics summit, which is the conference in San Jose. I also will be running a full day training for Apache Pinot. Hopefully, the people will join us there. If you in the world of looking solution for solving your real-time analytics problem.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome. Actually, I really like the technology, and this is the kind of thing that make me miss being like full time developers, being able to really spend time to like solve those kind of like real time issues, or really like just trying to give a
yeah,
great experience to the user. So um, that's pretty cool. Thanks for the demo. If you missed one of those links, just ping Victor on Twitter. His Twitter handle is on the screen. And on that note, Victor, I really want to thank you for taking the time to be on the show. It was amazing to talk to you. Nice to also get to know you because we didn't met before. We didn't even like have a pre-show meeting. I like to do that with guests that I don't know. I offer guests to like have a quick coffee chat with me, but I want this
yeah.
show to be as much as natural as possible. So if I don't know the person, I try not to book a meeting with them, and I just get to know the people at the same time as you. So thanks again for being on the show. Thanks for sharing how to use Apache Pinot and a little bit of like what you're doing, sharing your experience with people. That was real nice.
Thanks so
And
much for having me. It was great, great conversation, and I really appreciate everything you do with this and
awesome.
promoting all sorts of work that the people do in the world of developer relations. So keep it
Thanks.
up. This is big, and not many times it's like a very appreciative. But I appreciate you and the things what you do. So good luck with the show.
Thanks. And before I let you go back to Michael, I just want to tell people this episode, as you probably know, was supposed to be last Thursday, and I do the show every 2 weeks, meaning that like because I planned the show, I have guests plan a schedule for the next couple of months. So I will continue with the quote unquote regular schedule, meaning that the next show is going to be next week, but that's going to be at a different date next week. So it's not going to be on Thursday as usually because at the exact same time of the show, I'm going to be speaking at a conference. So next week's show is going to be on Tuesday, February 20 at 4:30 Eastern time. So I'm really excited to have Doug Seiler as my next guest. And so, yeah, just keep in mind, I'm going to start to do the promotion by the end of this week. All the information is going to be there. But like if you're watching that show, be mindful that it's not next Thursday as is used to. Last two things: if you are in Austin, Texas, and you go to CVO Navigate next week, let me know. I'm going to be there with John and Jared from Cube First. For me, that's going to be like in and out. So I'm arriving like on the Monday. The conference is Tuesday, Wednesday. I gave a talk on Wednesday about Hargo CD, and I'm basically have like 30 minutes, an hour after my talk. And after that, I need to go back to the airport because if you are in Montreal and you go to the Kung Fu conference, I'm going to be at Kung Fu, not on the first day because I'm going to be at Cebu Navigate and flying back home. It's still a long flight with a layover, but I'm going to be there on the last 2 days Kung Fu. I'm also giving two talks, one about helping you to learn a little more about GitOps, and one to really share a couple of like tools and CLI like things that you will need to make your Kubernetes life easier. So anyway, if you're based in Montreal, hit me up all the time. This is where I live, but I'm going to be also at Kung Fu. Super excited to be there. I've never been
Nice,
to
yeah,
Kung Fu
and
since the last
yeah,
10
need
years.
to need to find some of the data conferences in Canada as well, and come to see your friends.
Yeah, that will be awesome. Let me know if that happened. And yeah, so any last word for people listening
My
live or
last
watching the
words, it's
recording?
my kind of like the trademark. My name is Viktor Gamov, and as always, have a nice day.
That is awesome. I should not have like talked after that, but thanks everybody who joined live. You were not super vocal with question today, but it's fine. It's your show. You listen. If you don't have any questions, it's fine. But like always happy to have question, even comments or just saying hi. Please do so. If you watched the recording, thanks also to you. And on that note, I wish you a good end of the day. And thanks again, Victor. Thanks everybody, and see you next week.
Bye.